Don't dwell on the past. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that I think we all struggle with at some point in our lives. It's about letting go of the past and moving forward. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. And I realized how much energy we waste looking backward instead of looking ahead. I want you to imagine for a moment that you're driving a car. What would happen if you spent the entire drive looking in the rearview mirror? You'd probably crash, right? Well, life is kind of like that too. When we spend too much time focused on what happened yesterday, last month, or last year, we miss what's happening right now and what could happen tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying we should completely forget our past. Our experiences, both good and bad, have shaped who we are today. They've taught us lessons and helped us grow. But there's a big difference between learning from the past and living in it. And that's what I want to explore with you today. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, I met this woman at a coffee shop. She was probably in her 50s. And she looked really sad. We started talking, and she told me about how she had made a mistake at work 15 years ago. 15 years. She had been carrying this guilt and shame for all this time. She kept replaying that moment over in her head, wondering what would have happened if she had done things differently. But here's the thing. That mistake happened 15 years ago. She couldn't change it. No amount of worrying or regret was going to undo what had already been done. Yet, she was letting it control her present life. She was so focused on that one moment in the past that she was missing all the beautiful moments in her present. This is what I mean when I talk about dwelling on the past. It's when we get stuck in a loop, constantly thinking about things we can't change. It's like being trapped in a room with no windows, when there's a whole world waiting for us outside. So, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we hold on to things that hurt us? Well, I think there are several reasons. Sometimes, we hold on to the past because it feels familiar. Even if it's painful, it's something we know. The future can feel scary and uncertain, so we stick with what we're used to. Other times, we hold on to past mistakes because we think we deserve to suffer. We believe that if we punish ourselves enough, somehow that will make things right. But punishment doesn't heal wounds, it just keeps them open. And sometimes, we hold on to good memories from the past because we're afraid we'll never be that happy again. We think our best days are behind us, so we try to live in those moments forever. But here's what I've learned. When we hold on to the past too tightly, we close ourselves off to new possibilities. We miss out on new relationships, new opportunities, and new versions of ourselves. We become like a tree that refuses to let go of its old leaves, so it can't grow new ones. I want to share another story with you. There was this man who had been married for 20 years. His wife left him for someone else, and he was devastated. For the next 5 years, he couldn't stop thinking about what went wrong. He analyzed every conversation, every argument, every moment. He was so focused on his failed marriage that he couldn't see the woman who was interested in him at work, or the friends who wanted to spend time with him, or the hobbies that could bring him joy. One day, his friend sat him down and said something that changed his perspective. His friend said, "You're not living your life. You're living in a memory." That hit him hard. He realized that he had been so busy looking backward that he had forgotten how to look forward. So he decided to make a change. He didn't forget about his marriage or pretend it never happened. But he stopped letting it define his present. He started saying yes to invitations. He picked up old hobbies and tried new ones. He began to see his life as a story that was still being written, not one that had already ended. And you know what happened? Within a year, he had met someone new. Not because he was looking for a replacement, but because he was open to life again. He was present in his own life, and that made all the difference. This brings me to an important point. Moving on from the past doesn't mean we have to forget everything that happened. It doesn't mean we should ignore the lessons we've learned or pretend that painful experiences never occurred. What it means is that we choose not to let those experiences control our present moment. Think of it like this. Your past is like a teacher. A good teacher gives you lessons and then sends you out into the world to use what you've learned. But imagine if that teacher followed you everywhere, constantly reminding you of every mistake you made in class. That wouldn't be helpful, would it? That would just hold you back. Your past experiences have taught you things. Maybe they've taught you to be more careful in relationships. Maybe they've shown you what you don't want in life. Maybe they've revealed strengths you didn't know you had. Take those lessons with you. But don't carry the weight of the experiences themselves. I know this is easier said than done. Trust me, I've been there too. We all have moments or periods in our lives that we wish we could change. But I want to give you some practical ways to start letting go. First, practice acceptance. This doesn't mean you have to like what happened or think it was okay. It just means you acknowledge that it happened and that you can't change it. When you find yourself thinking about a past event, try saying to yourself, "That happened, and I can't change it. But I can choose what I do next." Second, focus on what you can control right now. You can't control what happened yesterday, but you can control how you spend today. You can choose to call a friend, take a walk, learn something new, or help someone else. Every moment is a chance to make a choice that moves you forward. Third, create new experiences. Sometimes we get stuck in the past because our present feels empty or boring. So fill it up with things that matter to you. Try new activities, meet new people, visit new places. Give your mind something positive to focus on. Fourth, practice gratitude for your present life. It's hard to dwell on the past when you're actively appreciating what you have right now. This doesn't mean your life has to be perfect. It just means finding things, even small things, that you can be thankful for today. And fifth, be patient with yourself. Letting go is a process, not a switch you can flip. Some days will be easier than others. Some memories might come back even after you thought you had moved on. That's normal and okay. The goal isn't to never think about the past. The goal is to not let it run your life. I also want to talk about forgiveness, because I think it's a big part of letting go. Sometimes the person we need to forgive is someone else. Sometimes it's ourselves. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you have to trust that person again or put yourself in the same situation. Forgiveness means you're choosing to release the anger and resentment that's keeping you tied to that painful moment. You're choosing freedom over revenge, peace over bitterness. And here's the beautiful thing about forgiveness. You don't do it for the other person. You do it for yourself. I remember hearing someone say that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. That really stuck with me. When we hold on to hurt and anger from the past, we're the ones who suffer. We're the ones who can't sleep at night or enjoy a beautiful sunset or feel fully present with the people we love. Now, I want to address something that might be on your mind. You might be thinking, but what if I forget the lesson? What if I make the same mistake again? This is a common fear, and I understand it. But here's what I've found. When you truly learn a lesson, it becomes part of you. It changes how you see things and how you make decisions. You don't need to keep the pain alive to remember the lesson. It's like learning not to touch a hot stove. Once you learn that lesson, you don't need to keep your hand burned to remember it. The knowledge becomes part of your natural behavior. Let me share one more story. There was a young woman who had been betrayed by her best friend in college. Her friend had shared her secrets and turned other people against her. For years after graduation, she couldn't trust anyone. She would meet new people and immediately start looking for signs that they might betray her too. She was so focused on protecting herself from past hurt that she wasn't able to form real connections with new people. She was living in a world where everyone was her college friend, even though that wasn't true. One day, she realized what she was doing. She saw that she was punishing new people for something someone else had done years ago. So she made a decision. She decided to give people a chance to show her who they really were. instead of assuming they were like her old friend. It wasn't easy at first. She had to fight the urge to put up walls. But slowly, she started forming real friendships. She learned that while some people might let her down, many others wouldn't. By letting go of her past hurt, she opened herself up to love and friendship she never would have experienced otherwise. This is what I want for you too. I want you to be able to enter new situations without carrying old baggage. I want you to be able to meet new people without assuming they'll hurt you the same way someone else did. I want you to be able to try new things without being paralyzed by fear of failure. Your past doesn't define you. It's not a life sentence. It's just information. And you get to decide what to do with that information. You can use it to build walls, or you can use it to build wisdom. You can use it to close doors, or you can use it to choose better doors to walk through. I know some of you might be dealing with really serious past trauma or loss. Please know that I'm not minimizing your pain or suggesting that you should just get over it quickly. Some wounds take longer to heal than others. Some require professional help. And that's okay. Seeking help is actually a brave step toward healing and moving forward. But even in the most difficult situations, the principle remains the same. Healing happens when we stop letting the past control our present. It happens when we choose to believe that our best days can still be ahead of us, not behind us. I want to leave you with this thought. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can spend that day in yesterday, or you can spend it in today. You can focus on what went wrong, or you can focus on what could go right. You can be a victim of your past, or you can be the author of your future. Your story isn't over. In fact, some of the best chapters might be still unwritten. But you have to turn the page to find out. You have to stop rereading the old chapters and start writing new ones. So here's my challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, ask yourself this question. What do I want to create today? Not what do I wish I could change about yesterday? But what do I want to create today? Then go out and create something beautiful. It doesn't have to be big. It could be a conversation with a stranger, a phone call to an old friend, a walk in nature, or simply a moment of gratitude for being alive. The point is to engage with the present moment and the possibilities it holds. Because that's where life happens. Not in the past, not in the future, but right here, right now. Thank you for watching. And remember, your best days are still ahead of you. You just have to choose to walk toward them. I'll see you in the next video.